Hi, I'm Dave with Flying Tiger Transport, and today we're going to be working on a couple 67 Dodge Power Wagon activities. One of them is setting up the STA Superlug tire on its rim for use as a spare, and we'll be showing you how to set up this tire, which has a split locking ring. A little bit of a challenge for some folks who haven't done it before, but let's get started. This is a STA Superlug tire. This is nothing to sneeze at here. This is made by Specialty Tires of America, actually in Pennsylvania. Been in business for an incredibly long time. I know that my family's been buying from them unbelievably since the 1900s, the early 1900s actually. This guy is a 9x16 LT, 9.00 by 16 light truck tire. There's nothing light about this. This thing is a monster. Great traction. One thing to remember is it's not a radial. This is a bias ply tire. It does ride a little bit stiffer. It does have the peculiarities of all the bias plies. Also with this guy, definitely notice this is not a plaything. This has a very thick, incredibly thick, provided by Universal Tire, something Hershey by the way. Very thick protective insert in here called a flap. Most folks have not seen a flap in a tire unless you're into the truck side of the world. This protects the tube, incredibly heavy tube, which I've put in here and just inflated slightly to give us a little bit of a start. And we've got to set the flap in here. Old timers will probably look at this and laugh. They do this 100 times a day, or they used to do this 100 times a day. Didn't think anything of it, but the technology isn't here anymore to do this kind of work. So I really didn't find too much on the web about it, so I decided to kind of show you how my approach to this. So, a couple things that we need. Let me grab some tools and we'll get onto it. Okay, so to get started, just a few things that are general requirements when you're working with a tire like this. First of all, important to start with the rim. This is a Dodge Power Wagon rim. It's a 5-bolt hole rim. It's a 16-inch rim. It's pretty hefty. And this one, before I did the POR 15 and chassis black treatment on it, this guy is a 1948. Has a date code on the face of this, which I do have them on the website, flyingtigertransport.com. You can go out and you can see the picture. I believe it's out there. When it was red. And for the fire truck version of it. So this guy, we have to have him, of course. Central piece. Its buddy, the split locking ring. This is not a split rim. Many people were scared to death when I try to get them to mount my split rim tires. They told me to go away. This is a split ring. And the folks where I bought this picked them up in Hershey, very helpful, showed me the whole process of how to wrestle with and how to easily mount a split ring, locking ring system onto this tire, metal tire. Alright, the other things that are necessary, a couple tire tools, good hooked end tool, which is required to kind of get up under there. An end that fits the locking ring, which I'll show you. Another tire tool which might be helpful to kind of pry. This is more an art than it is a science. And actually it's I'm sure it constituted a major work product for probably about 75 years in the marketplace. I grew up with a buddy in northeastern Pennsylvania whose dad owned a truck tire business, and actually did this one summer. They also recap tires. It was a good experience. It was a very, very tough job. Really tough job. So a lot of this came back to me, and a lot of guys said I was too small to pick up these tires at the time, basically. But a lot of the guys that mounted these, to see them do it was amazing. It was a 1 to 3 minute job, and they really knew what they were doing and knocked this out. It may take a little longer today, but I'm running through it instructionally. One of the things I did learn is to avoid this guy. This is not the guy that you want to lubricate the tire rims with. Everybody who showed me how to do this, or on the sites that I found, basically have you using soapy water, and that's what everybody that I remember in the early days that I can remember back to used as well. So we're going to get started. Curious. Okay. Next phase is to set up the chair. I use a 4x4 to raise it up just a little bit, gets it even, doesn't hit the sides. Kind of try to get it down in the open areas, as steady as reasonably can be. Get this a little wet up on the edge, up underneath. Alright. We'll air this up, not a lot. I've already aired it up just enough to get the tube on, and we really don't want to air it up too much more than that until we've got the locking ring on, and then I'll talk about that. That is a pretty important consideration in doing a locking ring tire. Alright, gotta think ahead here. And part of our consideration is to make sure the flap is nice and even all around, doesn't get caught anywhere. So we're going to get that flap up and in here. Also, we need to have our air valve, Schroeder valve, set up just about where we want it, because this is a little wrestling match, as you will see, to get it down and on there. There's a lot of soap on the reverse side here. All set to go on. Typically you'd see this using a dauber. This works fine. Sure it's not nice and slippery. And then just lift him up and drop him right on there. Luckily, it's fairly light. Okay. And you pretty much only get one shot. Get everything lined up here without a problem. Rocking it back on the knees helps. Getting that flap inserted where you want it. Rotating it around a bit. Key to success. Flap clears, clearing the edges, dropping it right down over the top. Get that flap in the edge. People do not see, at least I have not seen, these protective flaps in use in an awfully long time. They're a little odd. Put the tire back up, you get it centered. Once the flap is centered all the way around, drop it down. Okay. Give you a close-up of how that looks. So you get an idea of what we got happening there. It is centered all around. And now we're going to wrestle the Schroeder valve into its receiving stem area. Okay, next part here is to, one of the first stages here, is to get the Schroeder valve, the air extension, into where it's supposed to seat into the rim. So, Not too hard to do this, not too easy either. Trial fitted the rim okay, got the Schrader valve stem down, and we're going to go ahead and aim him down in here so we can get him to line up into the rim. Get our flaps over the rim, start with, and then get him pushed way up in there, way up as far as we can. Bend him down, bring the rim in, just the point where we can get him in. There he is. He's in there. Keep pushing down on the flap, going around. There's a little bit more water. So if you water to get that in there, more lubrication, the better. Just walk that rim right up. Okay. Inverted it. I'm going to put it up on the chair. We may not need to, but we'll see. I'm going to bring him up. Not quite fully seated. Get him up on the chair. Again, luckily this is not a heavy tire assembly. I think I'm kidding. Perfect. Set right down. I'll give you a shot of that. Seats right down. Valve stem comes out. Again, this is an SPA, STA, Specialty Tire of America. Really nice version of an original size tire for this vehicle. Alright, next step. Getting the lock ring on. Alright, our second phase of the whole process is to get the lock ring on. So, we're going to start setting it. Make sure we're aware where we're putting the split. It doesn't matter to the air valve, but it does matter to where we want to start with the locking ring. I'll show you that process in a moment here. You notice with the locking ring, there are holes. One hole here, one hole there, and an open ring. And this whole idea is to let you use a tool to hold it in place, stretch it, walk it in, walk it around, and most people end up stomping these down and then airing them up. Okay, so we're going to set this ring a little bit off so we do not come in contact with the air valve. Put something down there. Alright, we're going to use some tools. Okay, we are all ready to walk the locking ring on, and we're starting, as you can see, at a set point offset so we don't hit anywhere near the tire valve, the air valve. So let's back up where you can see what I'm going to do here, and we'll go ahead and start walking this guy around. It's an interesting process. It either goes on really easily or you end up in a wrestling match with it. So let's see which one it is today. First thing we do is I take control of it by putting the straight in. In this case, I'm going to straight in, and making sure I control the other side while I put my foot down here and get that locking ring underneath. The locking ring is now under the first part of the tire. Walking this around, we're going to lock at the far end, and we've got pressure here going that way. We're going to keep our foot here, heel where we want it to go in, and try to walk it down while bringing this up and out. A little bit of deflection to bring the rim that way. So I'm going up and that way. she's seating. Once we sat all the way over to the point where I've got the pressure on it, we've got to move to the end. Again, pressure up and open to open the ring against the ring. It's down, walking her around. Almost, as you can see the ring, almost down. At this point we're going to hold the pressure here and get him home. Almost. Take him off the chair. Let's see where we're going with it. Put a tool back in. Bring him right in. That's the locking ring. One hammer, 2 pry bars, a bunch of soap, a little WD-40 on the rim. Okay, she's in. Hope that was good for you. I don't have to go to the gym today. I never have to go to the gym. I've got a Power Wagon. You get to see an idea. And that will close once we air it up. Okay, so we're on. We got the tire all on. We will air it up, and we will move on to the next project with this thing, and that's to actually mount this on the truck. We needed it mounted this way before we actually could do that. So the next project will be to mount them on the truck. Look at that. Still has a tag on and everything. Alright. See you at the next project. 1967 Dodge Power Wagon.